a lot of you are so interested in this case, these two little children, Jack and Lilly Sullivan, who literally sort of seemed to disappear into a puff of air, although there have been some clues found. But how reliable are the clues that have been found? So let me just give you a backstory. If you don't know, if you've come into this case, new coming to this case, or if you're new coming to my channel, my name's Vicky. I'm British, but I live in Spain, and I cover true crime from all over the English-speaking world, really, and Spain, of course. And this case is a Canadian case. So this is Nova Scotia, where these two little children went missing from. It sort of captivated the whole world, hasn't it? You know, we've got Lilly, who is 6. We've got Jack, who was 4 when he went missing, but he's been missing so long now. He's actually past his 5th birthday as well. So if, you know, if only he was still alive somewhere in this world, he will be 5 now rather than 4, which was his age when he went missing. So Jack and Lilly are the biological children of Malaya Brooks, who's there in that picture with her partner Daniel Martel. So they are her children from a previous relationship. Malaya then met Daniel and has had another child with him called Meadow, a little girl, a baby. She's only a baby really still. And they all live together on Daniel's mum's property, Janie, his mum, in Nova Scotia in Canada. And Malaya was really estranged from Jack and Lily's dad and Jack and Lily's dad's mum, Belinda. And they very sadly had not seen Jack and Lilly for quite a long time. Anyway, so to piecing together the timeline of what happened. Now, let me first just say my thank yous actually before I get into it. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all of you that have are members or have supported my channel that little bit more. People that have sent me Ko-fis for my computer fund, thank you so much. Those of you who've sent super stickers, PayPals, or other ways that you're supporting me, thank you so much. Hello, you lovely lurkers. Good to see you. Hello, replay crew. Thank you for watching. Now I'm going to get into the story. So I'm going to take off the banner. As I say, I think a lot of you will know this case. Certainly if you watch my my channel on a regular basis. So I just want to say hello to people that are already in the chat. Oh, we've got Westside, who very sadly has lost a pet recently. I'm so sorry to hear that, Westside, and yeah, they'll always be with you. They'll always be with you. Hi Daniel, happy Saturday. Good morning, Julie. It's raining here. Julie is also in Spain, but not in a different part of Spain than me. We had a couple of lovely days and now it started raining again, but it is a bit warmer. It is a bit warmer. Okay, so yeah, let me just go back to the backstory. Oh, let me take the banner off actually. Go to the backstory here. So a long time ago now, I think it was back in May, that this, they've been missing 8 months, these two little children. Can you believe it? 8 long months. Well, there's no way that 2 little children like that have, you know, stayed alive under their own steam for 8 months. Obviously, the only way that they could still be alive is if they were abducted. You know, there's been all sorts of rumours flying around. This couple, Daniel and Malaya, lived at the, and I say lived because Malaya has left there now. Daniel still lives there from what I can gather. So they lived at his mum Janie's property in a trailer on her land. And they lived there with Jack and Lilly and their daughter Meadow, the baby. And I think Daniel's brother lived there as well. But you very rarely hear anything about him. I'd like to know more about him. Where was he when all this happened? Anyway, that's where they all lived together. So Jack and Lilly that week and recently, before they went missing, they'd been missing from school quite often. I just want to say that they didn't have a brilliant attendance record at school, apparently. Anyway, that particular week, they had colds. Apparently, they had been poorly. The day before they went missing, the whole family were on CCTV, eating out or out publicly. Now, we've heard that, but we have not seen that CCTV. It has not been released. But law enforcement have said that they were all seen together. Jack and Lilly were alive and well. And the night before or the day before. So they went missing on a Friday. So the Thursday before they went missing, they were on CCTV, the whole family, according to law enforcement. Then on the Friday, the following morning, very early in the morning, very, very early in the morning, around 6 a.m. in the morning, Malaya, or was it Malaya? We don't know. So, people keep saying, Malaya reported the children would not be coming into school, sent an email to the principal at the school and said the children would not be in because they weren't well. Now, do we know for sure that that was Malaya that sent that email? Because anyone can send an email, can't they? So that's just something that crossed my mind. Was it Malaya who sent that email? Or was it Daniel, for example, or anyone who sent that email? Anyway, an email was sent saying that children would not be in for school at about 6:15 in the morning. Then what happened, apparently Daniel, Malaya and the baby Meadow were all in bed and they could hear Jack and Lilly playing in the kitchen, talking, playing in the kitchen. And, we've heard quite a lot. We haven't heard much from Malaya, but we've heard quite a lot from Daniel. And he says, and we've no reason at the moment to doubt what he says because he's not been made a suspect. He's passed the lie detector test, apparently, as has Malaya as well. And everyone concerned apparently has passed the lie detector test. So, maybe it is true what he's saying. But I think he was quite conflicting what he was saying, that he first said, nothing would wake Malaya up. But then he was saying that he saw Lilly put her head through the door a couple of times. The more this is going on, the more I am starting to think. I'm trying not to think badly of Daniel until there's any proper evidence. But it's difficult. It's difficult not to. But, until the police sort of decide anybody is a suspect or they make an arrest, really, we haven't got any evidence that Daniel or anybody else did anything to these children. So apparently they were playing in the kitchen of the trailer. And then Daniel said suddenly he realised he hadn't heard them for a little while. So he said to Malaya, I haven't heard the children for a while. And he got up and they were gone. Not only they were gone from the kitchen, but they were gone from, immediately outside. They weren't playing outside. Then Daniel's mum, Janie, she said that she had heard the children outside, but she said she only heard them. She did not see them. And she says, no, I wish I would have got up and looked out or said something, but I didn't, but I could hear them. So she says she could hear them outside. And then poof, they were gone. They were disappeared. Now, they did have like dens, a den just outside the sort of clearing where they would play. But around and about that, very thick woods, very thick trees, bushes, be very difficult for little children to walk off unless they walked away up the road, up the driveway to the main road. There's a main road not too far away. And then there was talk of that they'd been seen walking along the road, and so there's been, basically, I think what we can say in this case is there's been a lot of talk but no evidence. Now, there were some boot prints found, child's footprints apparently found, but just like an isolated area of footprints. There was pieces of Lily's blanket found, which apparently had been in the bin. How did it get out the bin and into the bushes? Apparently the pieces of blanket. Now, these are only what the family have said. So the law enforcement haven't said much, as you can imagine. They're quite tight-lipped about the whole thing, or they were. But these are the things that are coming out, that there were some bits of Lily's blanket found, but some people say, oh, they were found too high up for it to be from Lilly. They were planted. Daniel initially said they were planted by Malaya's family. Though I think he's taken that back now, I don't know. So there's a lot of conflicting rumours that have gone on about this case, a lot of conflicting rumours. So it just comes down to, if we just look at what we know is they disappeared and nothing's been found apart from this boot print and a little bit of the blanket, but none of their clothes have been found. So it's unlikely that they had an encounter with a wild animal or whatever, because there surely would have been signs of a struggle or signs of something. And also, what of course is so unusual is for two children to go missing. Children do go missing, obviously, but for two of them, and that makes, I think, it unusual, whatever has happened, whether it's foul play. It's unusual for two children to get killed, at the same time. Is this a domestic violence case? Is this a case because there had been black eyes reported from the school, that Jack in particular had black eyes, so there are reports. And what we're going to look at in this video is some documents now have been released that do cite domestic violence in this home. Now, domestic violence does not mean murder in itself. Of course, there's also rumours that Daniel and Malaya, I don't know, there were possibly DRUGSs in the home. Is this a case of Lilly and Jack finding some hanging around, and if they were tablets, like maybe an interesting looking colour, and they thought they were sweets, and they've taken, they've eaten these drugs. Is this something that happened the night before, or is this something that did happen that morning? Bear in mind, nobody saw Jack and Lilly that morning. Even Janie didn't see them. She says she heard them, but she did not see them. Another thing, sort of rumour, if you like, that's going round that can't seem to be proved one way or another, is the neighbours said the night before they heard a car driving around. Now, Daniel says he didn't go anywhere. Malaya went to bed at 9 o'clock. She said she doesn't know what Daniel did after that. But this neighbour was insistent, and another neighbour as well said they heard the cars. And then people are saying, well, we don't know about those neighbours. Are they suspicious? Because, of course, even if it's foul play, the answers might not lie close to home like that. The answers might lie with the neighbours in the neighbourhood. Just if Jack and Lilly were wandering around, and anyone could have come across them, couldn't they? Because although it's quite a remote place, there are other properties within the area. So basically, is a lot of rumours and nothing that's concrete. Another thing, I mean, there are a lot of strange things. The thing that's the strange thing to me, the strangest thing of all, is that that same the very next day. So bear in mind, these two little ones have disappeared. Malaya is their mother. The very next day, Malaya left that property with the baby and went off to her mum's or whatever miles away. Would you leave the area when your babies, your children have disappeared and you don't know where they are and they could be back any minute and they would need their mum, wouldn't they? You know, if they'd had a horrible experience like where they'd got lost, but then fortunately were found, which everyone was hoping in the beginning, weren't they? Everyone was hoping that maybe they just got lost in the woods and these search teams, and they'd taken shelter. And these search teams, because there's been lots of searches, dogs, cadaver dogs, scent dogs, lots of searches made, and nothing's been found. Would you, as a mother, leave that area? I mean, there's obviously something going on in this relationship because Malaya not only left the area, but she has had no contact with Daniel since. So something's wrong in this relationship. Did she leave because of Jack and Lilly going missing, or was she planning to go to leave him? You know, these are the things that we just don't know. But one thing is for certain, she did leave him. She left him the very next day, regardless of the fact her children were missing in those woods around his home. And she took the baby with her, but the baby, Meadow, now is in social services care. So neither Daniel or Malaya have custody of Meadow. Meadow is in social services care, and they can go and visit her, I believe, because I noticed, there have been photos on Daniel's Facebook of him with Malaya. It must be when he goes to do his visits, but they go separately to make the visits. They don't go together. So as far as we know, Daniel and Malaya actually, they have split up. So it all seems an odd coincidence, doesn't it? Hi, Lily Paulie. I don't know if I can't remember now if I said hello to you. Yeah. So, when you sort of weigh it all up, it almost, why has Meadow been taken away from Malaya? There'll be a reason for that. It can't just be because her other two, because if the police didn't suspect anything strange, or if there were no suspicions that Malaya had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly or knew anything, surely they wouldn't take her baby off her. But, they've taken the baby away because they're not sure, I suppose, exactly what has happened to these two children. And, we never like to believe that a mother can be involved in the disappearance of her children, but unfortunately it happens so often. It really does. We find it easier to accept that a stepfather might be involved. But we had the case just recently of Melody Buzzard, her own mother taking her off on this crazy road trip with wearing wigs, and then at some point, or she's been allegedly at some point on the way back from the road trip, just stopping at the side of the road, shooting her own daughter in the back of the head, assassination style, and then going home as if nothing had happened. Anyway, she's been arrested now, so we have to say allegedly because she hasn't been found guilty yet. But what I'm trying to say is mothers do horrible things, as hard as it is to imagine. And looking at Malaya, Malaya's very young. They're both young, Daniel and Malaya. I think Malaya's very young to have 3 children. I don't think she's even into her mid-20s yet. But anyway, that's... and the other thing that always strikes me when I look at the photos is how much Lily looks like her mum, Malaya. They look so alike, don't they? Anyway, so that's the case so far. And as I say, the police have been very tight-lipped. They've not really released any information. The only thing they really came out and said was when the neighbours were saying that they had heard cars driving around the area, and one of the neighbours actually said he saw it was Daniel Martel's car. The police did come out and say they have no evidence to support that. They did come out and say that, but they didn't say it wasn't Daniel. They said they had no evidence to support that it was Daniel. So, yeah, so where are they with this case? And the problem is when things happen in rural areas, you know, if two children went missing from a city, or there's normally some CCTV, dash cam, door cam footage, but this is a property right out in the woods. So literally, I think anything could have happened, and it wouldn't be captured as it would be if it had happened in a city, would it? So anyway, what has developed, the reason that I'm making this video, because I haven't made a video about Jack and Lilly for a little while, but I do try and bring it up every now and again just to, because it's important always to not let these cases get forgotten. They can become, 8 months, can you believe it's been 8 months since these children went missing in May? You know, we've been through Christmas and New Year, and how will that have been for Malaya? You know, if she's got nothing to do with this disappearance, she's spent Christmas and New Year without any of her children. You know, imagine having 3 children and not even spending Christmas with one of them, because Meadows in social services care. Now, as far as Daniel's concerned, he was quite vociferous in the beginning, wasn't he? Did a lot of interviews. The playlist for the Jack and Lilly case, I'll try and remember to link it in the description on this video. There's we've watched him being interviewed many times, and I think there's real mixed feelings about Daniel. A lot of people think he's duplicitous, that he comes over as being sort of guilty or smug, or, you know, and it's possible, but as I say, no evidence. All the rumours are going around that Daniel is with somebody else now as well, so he's moved on pretty quick. I mean, at the end of the day, Jack and Lilly are not his biological children, but they'd been living with him for quite a while, so I presume he had some relationship with them, that cared about them at least. I don't know. So what has come out recently that sort of set the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit, that's what we're going to look at, which is the police have released some court documents that show that there was domestic abuse in this household. So that is what we're going to look at. So I think a lot of people thought there was domestic abuse. Should come up now. I think a lot of people sort of surmised that there might be domestic abuse in this household, but now we are getting it confirmed. So, Nova Scotia missing kids. The mother accused the partner of abuse, court documents reveal. Look at these two. You know, they're going to be frozen. There are other, another 2 children that are going to be frozen in time forever. Just looking at those, their lovely little smiles, and, will there never be any more photos anymore, of Jack and Lilly? It's just, because they're not around anymore. I mean, Jack, look, is that a birthmark on Jack's face, or has he got a little scratch on his face there? I mean, children do pick up scratches, don't they, and bumps and things. But the black eyes that Jack is rumoured to have had, that's a whole nother thing, isn't it? So Lilly Sullivan and her brother Jack are 6, and her brother Jack 4, as I say, is 5 now, were reported missing May the 2nd. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. It feels like only yesterday they went missing, that we started reporting on this case. But oh gosh, that's a long time ago. So in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia in Pictou County. So the mother of two young siblings who have been missing for 8 months told Nova Scotia police her common law partner had been physically abusive at times, according to newly unsealed court documents. The documents were filed to support applications for search warrants, and none of the allegations have been tested in court. Lilly and Jack, aged 6 and 4 at the time, were reported missing on May 2nd, 2025, from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia in Pictou County. The children's family had called 911 and said the siblings wandered away that morning from the home, which is situated in a heavily wooded area. Despite repeated and extensive searches involving police, volunteers and cadaver dogs, the children have not been found. And at the time they were living with their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and her partner, Daniel Martel. Amongst the unsealed documents is an interview with police where Brooks Murray discussed her relationship with Martel. And when she was asked if Daniel was physically abusive, she said he would try to block her, hold her down, and once he pushed her. She said he would also take her phone from her when she tried to call her mum, and which would sometimes be physical and hurt. In his interview with the police, the document stated, Martel said the couple had been together for about 3 years and it moved pretty quickly. He said the two had recently been fighting about money. He said their relationship is good. They have ups and downs like any couple, the document read. He said that they would yell at each other when they were fighting, but there was no physical violence in their relationship. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? To quote from the Profumo scandal. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? So reached Thursday by the Canadian press, Martel denied the allegations of abuse, saying they're part of a narrative designed to make him look evil. The unsealed documents also revealed that the police spoke to the children's biological father, who said he had not seen the siblings in a couple of years, but he had been paying child support until he lost his job 9 months earlier. Nearly 6 months into their disappearance, Martel told Global News he no longer believed that the siblings were in the woods near the family's rural home. He said, speculations run wild, but I'd like everybody to know I'm working with the RCMP's major crime unit almost every day, just trying to figure stuff out, he said on October the 30th, 2025. And in a year-end interview with Global News, Chief Superintendent Dan Morrow with Nova Scotia RCMP's Criminal Operations Division called the case extremely rare. He said the police have received about 1,030 tips and conducted 86 formal interviews. He added that more than 8,100 functioning videos have been reviewed by the team supervising the investigation, as well as 7 polygraph examinations conducted. So there's been a lot of work behind the scenes, Morrow said. I've never seen it across my career, but while it's rare, the part that isn't rare is the complexity of the case. That's why it's taking so long, because these investigations have to be done in a methodical approach. Now, I wonder, there's been an interview with him. I wonder if I can find it. Will it pop up? Let's see if I can find that. Let's see if I can find that video. With the investigator. I think I might have found it. Let's see. Thinking comments, cast shadow on Daniel, just the longer it goes on, I don't understand if those children went into the woods, why they've not been found. I just do not understand why they've not been found with all the searches that have been done, and that makes me feel that they've maybe not been found because they're not there in the woods. Sorry, they're not involved, is it? Daniel's, I'm sure Daniel even realizes himself as the stepfather. He is the prime suspect. Even maybe not officially, but this is just what experience tells not only the police but us as well who follow true crime. If you were looking at, say it was established that they were murdered, he would definitely be the prime suspect. He's a stepfather. That's just the way it is. So they would start with him, and then once he was cleared, maybe they would look to the mother then, or anybody else in the intimate circle. That is, how it is with homicide. But of course, in this case, we don't even know if there's been a homicide. I suppose it's still not beyond the realms of possibility that they could be in those woods somewhere, just haven't been discovered yet. Their little bodies, possibly, isn't it? Because it's not easy to find a body, is it? And the other thing we have to think is, if Daniel did do it, where are they? Where are their bodies? Because how far could he have gone? Because don't forget, so they were seen the night before as a family all together. I suppose he had all evening and the next morning to dispose of the bodies somewhere. But there's been so many searches. Again, why have they not been found?
Missing children Lilly and Jack Sullivan provide a closer look at the relationship between their mother and stepfather. The latest details come from lifted redactions CBC and other media outlets have been fighting for in the case. The documents include an affidavit filed by RCMP that explains the investigation to date.
Malaya Brooks Murray and her boyfriend Daniel Martel were together for about 3 years. All of them lived in the documents. Martel told police they'd been fighting about money. His mother also referenced financial difficulties. The new records disclose that in an RCMP interview, Brooks Murray said Martel would try to take her phone from her when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt. Martel provides a different account. He told police their relationship was good and they had ups and downs like any other couple. He said they would yell at each other when they were fighting, but there was no physical violence in their relationship. RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon confirmed the nature of their relationship at the time of the children's disappearance is part of the investigation.
Are any of the children's family members considered suspects in this case?
I wouldn't say anybody's suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But we are not in a position to really comment on suspects or anything like that at this time.
The case is still being investigated under the Missing Persons Act and has not moved to a criminal investigation. But in new submissions, the Crown noted that while there is currently no reasonable grounds to believe a crime had taken place, it could become criminal.
When they state that there are no reasonable grounds for a criminal offense, what that really says to me is that there's currently not enough evidence to make an arrest for a crime, but a crime is not obviously being ruled out. It's a very important linguistic distinction.
Court documents in the case of missing children Lilly and Jack Sullivan provide a closer look at the relationship between their mother and stepfather.
Now, it is glitchy. It's just this. Anyway, never mind. It's this laptop. It's just not working right. Now, while I was looking for that again, I did find apparently Daniel has responded to these. Missing Nova Scotia children's stepfather responds 5 hours ago. So let's have a look at what he had to say about these new developments
in Lilly and Jack Sullivan's missing person. Newly unsealed court documents in Lilly and Jack Sullivan's missing persons case are raising questions about the relationship between the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and stepfather Daniel Martel. Filed to support search warrant applications for the case, the documents lay out Brooks Murray's and Martel's responses to investigators' questions. When asked if Martel was ever physically abusive in their relationship, Brooks Murray said he would, quote, try to block her, hold her down, and once pushed her. She said he would also take her phone from her when she tried to call her mom, which would sometimes be physical and hurt. Brooks Murray declined Global News' request for comment.
Have you ever tried to block Malaya, hold her down, or push her?
No, all those allegations are false. And as I said, it was just to paint me in a bad light. That's basically why there's all of those allegations of abuse came out. I never physically abused Malaya.
Martel says he approved of these redactions being lifted, adding not much has changed when it comes to his public reputation.
I've been, trying to keep the public up to date as much as possible. My image hasn't changed at all. It was always Daniel's evil, Daniel monster. And with that painted narrative, the public automatically will just jump to the belief of guilt.
He says he provided his DNA to run forensics on Lily's blanket, which was found in the woods by family members on May 2nd.
They didn't need a warrant to have my DNA, so I was willing to do it. I watched them sign on the consent form, no criminal involvement in the case of Lilly and Jack. So it was nice to see that, that box checked for no criminal involvement. I signed my name on the consent sheet.
The disappearance of the Sullivan siblings is still being treated as a missing persons investigation, despite the involvement of major crimes.
But when they do have a suspect and they dive into investigating that suspect or group of individuals, then it will pivot to a criminal investigation at that point.
Ella MacDonald, Global News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
So there you go. That's Daniel, what he's got to say about it. What do we think about Daniel? Anyway, okay, I just wanted to come on and let you know what was going on in this case, the latest thing. Does it mean that something's going to break, or is this going to go on for more and more months? We don't know, but let's hope so, that something will come of it, because these two little ones, they deserve to be found, don't they? So one way or another, even if it's the worst case scenario, answers need to be found. So okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Until then, may your God go with you. Bye.